Okay, class, so today for social studies, we're going to be looking at a certain topic that's going to help us to work with our both oral and writing skills when it comes to addressing social issues. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at our content objective and our language objective. Okay, so it says, using sentence stems, students will be able to write and recite different points of view in a speech. Okay, so as I said before, we're going to be practicing orally by reciting and writing. Okay, we fix that. All right, then we'll go ahead and read our language objective. It says, using sentence stems, students will be able to write and orally express different points of view concerning a class issue. Okay, so another thing that we're going to be looking at is points of view. Okay, and we'll be doing this by reviewing some of our previous studies in social studies. Okay, so we're going to take some of the things that happened in the past and apply it to different things that happen today in our society. Okay, so we're going to start off with the reading from, we're going to take a look back at the colonial time period during the Revolution. Remember, during that time, that's when the United States had not yet become its own official country, and so it was still being governed by the King of England. And during this time, there were many issues happening that the colonists wanted to separate and become independent. Okay, so what I have for you today is a reading from the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, which was written by Thomas Jefferson. So I have two of these. Okay, this one's for your group, and that one's for your group. I want to go ahead and do a reading from it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, so I know that there was a lot that was said in there. Okay, so I want us to use this. I want us to think, okay, so let's try and think about what Thomas Jefferson was trying to say when he was writing this as part of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so we're going to talk about how some of the reasons why these colonists wanted to have independence, why they were having these issues, and why they no longer wanted to be a part of the British government. So I want us to all take a moment to think, what might be some of the reasons why they did that? How would we feel if we were back then? If we were being treated unfairly, if we were being forced to pay for different things or to do unfair and unjust acts of treatment. Okay, and so for some of us who don't really know too much about Thomas Jefferson or too much about the colonial time period, let's go ahead and let's try to put it personal to our own lives. Let's think about, when have I had a time that I felt like I was having some unfair treatment? When somebody was doing something wrong to me and I was forced to act a certain way or respond a certain way to that person still. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a moment. I want you to think about it and I want you to process it, and then we're going to go ahead and try and verbalize it, so then that way we can go ahead and express that experience and how we felt and what went on during that time. Okay. All right. So while we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a few of our key vocabulary. And I have this up here for you so that way, as I say it, we can take a reference point back to it, and so we can see exactly what it means. So that way we can hear it, we can say it, and then we can see it and understand the definitions of it. So a few things we'll be looking at are points of view, which we saw in both our concept objective and our language objective. Okay, then we're going to be looking at this term grievance. Okay, and grievance is just another word that means unfair treatment, when somebody's doing something to you that isn't fair and you have a complaint towards it, or you have you don't enjoy it being happened to you. Okay, the next one is going to be revolution. And this is what happened when the colonists finally had too much of the grievances, and so they finally just went ahead and said, okay, out with the old and in with the new. We need something else. We can no longer abide by the old system. Okay, and then leader is just the person who's in charge. So for my example, I could say the leader of our school is our principal, right? Or the leader of the country is the president, right? Okay. The last one is independence. And independence just means being free of a situation, or being free from a group, or being free from people. So we'll go ahead and we'll have this, and we'll look at it more throughout the rest of the lesson. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's continue. So go ahead and share some of your experiences that you've had with maybe being unfair treatment, or how you think maybe the colonists felt back in their time. Okay, Rahela, what do you think? Okay, so you've said that before, that having an older sibling, that sometimes they take advantage and they try to do things that isn't really fair. Sometimes they make you do all the chores, or they play with your toys without really asking, and that's not really fair because you don't play with theirs without asking. Okay, I could see that. So we could say that something that is a grievance. That is when something unfair is happening to you and you're still having to subdue to it and having to just go along with it. Okay? Is anybody else? Okay, Fatima, what do you say? Okay, good. So just like we learned back in social studies before, when we learned about the colonial time period, that there was a lot of different taxations and a lot of unfair treatments that were happening towards the colonists that weren't being given back by the British government. It was just kind of one-sided. So yeah, that was definitely another grievance, which led them to want to have independence or go off on a revolution. Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that same thinking, and we're going to go ahead and apply it to nowadays. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use myself as an example. So let's say that starting tomorrow, the principal gives out a school-wide message and says that from now on, all the teachers have to give half of their paycheck to the principal. Every single one. All of 5th grade, all of 4th grade, all of 3rd, 2nd, 1st, kindergarten, pre-K. Every single one has to give half of their paycheck to the principal. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a list of grievances, okay? So I'm going to call it teacher grievances. Okay? And so it's real easy to think, oh, that's definitely unfair for all the hard work and all the hours that I put in, and then for all of a sudden the principal to take half of that. That's not fair for me or for my family, right? So I'm going to say my first reason is I earned my paycheck. Right? Okay? So I can say that because I worked hard all the time, every day of the year. It's not fair for somebody to come and take the money that I worked for, right? Okay? So this is one of my grievances that I would say. Okay? You say that again, grievances, right? And we know that grievances is a complaint or protest to unfair treatment. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's continue. Let's say I need my money to survive. Okay, so I went ahead and said that I need my money to survive, right? Because if I don't have all of my paycheck, that means I can't pay for food, I can't pay for gas, I can't pay for water, I can't pay for a place to live. So I definitely need all the money that I have in order to do that. Okay, let's see if I can say another one. I'm going to say my family needs my support. Okay, so my last one I put is that my family needs my support. So what would happen if I had a big family and we needed lots of money for lots of food, and if all of a sudden the money that I make is no longer coming in, instead it's going to the principal? Then how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to have everything, be able to provide for everything that my family needs? That's not very fair, right? I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do the same things that I do now starting tomorrow because not all of my money would be coming to me, right? So this, I want to point out, is just one side of the story, however. This is the point of view of the teachers. Okay? So if I were to go ahead and get together and grab a lot of teachers who kind of felt the same way that I did, we could maybe do like the colonists did and start a revolution. And a revolution again means changing the way the rules are working and to have something new come into place, right? And maybe we want to be independent as well. Maybe we want to be a part of the school anymore, or maybe we want to work on our own school and have a new leader, right? Okay, so we're going to look back, and a part of our objective, remember we said, is that we're going to be looking at different points of view, okay? So, like I said before, this is just the teacher point of view, but there's also a second point of view. Do we know whose point of view that would be? Rather, go ahead. Exactly. What about the principal's point of view? Okay? So I'm going to write principal's POV. Stands for point of view. Okay? Okay, so let's think. Now, let's say the principal will get more money, right? Because if all the teachers are losing money, that money has to go somewhere, right? And it would be going to the principal, so the principal would be getting more of the money. And so for the principal, that's a good thing, right? And that wouldn't be a grievance. That would be the opposite of a grievance. That would be a benefit. That would be something that they get without having to give back. Okay, let's see. Let's see, the principal, we could say, has all the power. Okay? So right now we can say the principal has all the power. Because if the principal has enough power to say, hey, one day you can have your check, but the next day I change my mind, then I have to get the check. That's pretty powerful, right? That puts the principal in a really high place as being the leader. And so for them to be able to say, oh, well, I changed my mind and I want all the money now, that actually works out in good favor for the principal. Would that work out good for the teachers? No, right? That would be really, really unfair, and that would still be a grievance or something for us that we would not think is fair. Okay? So one more, let's see. Another benefit for the principal, another thing from the point of view of the principal. Let's see. I'm going to say that the principal thinks that he or she says, I deserve all the money. Maybe because the principal thinks, oh, since I am the leader, since I am in charge of everybody, since I'm responsible, that all the money that comes in should go half to the teachers because they're only partially responsible, and the other half to the principal because the principal is responsible for everybody, right? So we can see, we'll look at these two, and it'll help us to better understand different points of view. For the teachers, we said that these are grievances. These are unfair treatments that we don't like. So for us, it would be, you're taking away our money, we can't survive, we can't provide for our families. But on the other point of view, it's going to be benefits for the principal because the principal gets all the money, has all the power, and feels that they deserve all parts of the money that comes in. Okay, so there are two sides to every story. And so for the teachers, if I were to be able to get some teachers together and to say, okay, these are some of our grievances, we can maybe do like the colonists and Thomas Jefferson did back in the day and create a Declaration of Independence, a list of grievances that say, that's it, we no longer want to be here, we want to be independent, and we're going to start a revolution because of it. Okay, remember, let's look back at it. We have grievances, unfair treatment, independence, being free of a situation or a group of people, and revolution, changing an old system for a new one. Okay? So now let's go ahead and we're going to move on to a time for you all to practice this and for you all to have an opportunity to work this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the class in two. One side will be the Patriots. The other will be the Loyalists. Okay? And this is talking about in terms of the colonial time period. So the Patriots were those who were in favor for a revolution. They were the ones who said, you know what, it's time for us to be on our own. It's time for us to take care of ourselves and to have new leaders. Okay? The Loyalists are the ones who support the British Crown, and the Loyalists were the ones that say, you know what, no, we like the British Crown, we like the British Army because they take care of us, they give us resources and materials, and when it's time for war, they help us, right? So I want us to practice the way I did for my model piece, showing the different points of view of a scenario, of a social issue, okay? One is going to be, this half of the class is going to be the Patriots. These are the ones that are going to say, you know what, no, it's time for a change, it's time for us to revolt. And this side of the class is going to be the Loyalists. These are the ones to say, no, we like it here, and we're going to go ahead and stay, okay? So I want you to take a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and group talk, and then we're going to call out some of our responses, and I'll fill up the chart here, and we're going to use these to kind of help us to be able to recite some of our arguments back and forth between the two groups, okay? So go ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at it. So Alejandro, what did you think? What did your group say as part of the Patriots? Okay, you said that we want a new leader. Okay, good. All right, so now what I want the Loyalists to do, I want you to counter that. I want you to say, well, we like our leader. We think he's good. So you would say, our leader knows best. Right? Okay, so we can see that on one side they say they want a new leader, that the leader maybe isn't the best for them. But on the other side we see that our leader knows the best and does the best for us. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and do the Loyalists again. I want you to give me something that the other team will counter on. Okay? Maria? Okay, so you say that our leader offers protection. Okay? For the Patriots, Luis, what do we say to that? Okay, so Luis says that we can protect ourselves. All right, see, so that definitely you can see different points of view from that scenario, right? One side says, the Loyalists say that our leader, our government, protects us. And the Patriots say that, no, you know what? We can protect ourselves. So we don't need the government, the British government, to take care of us, right? Okay, so we're going to do, now I'm going to go ahead and pass out some sentence stems, and we're going to use these to help us with the next portion of our lesson. We're going to go ahead and fill out our sentence stems, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and use that to guide us as we write a speech, and then we're going to do our practice at reciting our speech.